Tilki ile leylek. Tilki, the fox, ile. And leylek is this animal, which is the stork. Let's see what does this story talk about. As usual, the first time I will read each sentence and explain it. The second time I will read it without an explanation. And don't forget, at the end of this video, you will have a couple of words that I've taken from the story so that you see if you remember their meanings. Now let's start. Tilki ile leylek ormanda birbirine komşu olmuşlar. Meaning, the fox and the stork became neighbors in the forest. Tilki, fox, and the stork. Ormanda, orman means forest, da in the forest. So in the forest, birbirine, together, komşu olmuşlar, became neighbors. Now while we translate, we don't say they became neighbors together. This is how we translate it. The fox and the stork became neighbors in the forest. This is how we translate it. We don't translate each word alone. We don't have literal translation. Tilki misafirperver davranıp bir gün komşusu Leyla'yı yemeğe davet etmiş. Meaning of this sentence is the fox behaved hospitably, if we say it this way, and one day he invited his neighbor the stork to dinner. Tilki, the fox. Misafirperver is hospitably, davranıp, behaved. From davranmak, to behave, davranıp, the up we explained it in the previous story. When do we use it? Why don't you go back to that story and check it? Bir gün, one day, komşusu Leyla'yı, which is his neighbor, leylek. Now here the story. Komşu is neighbor. Komşusu, we're referring to the fox's neighbor. This is the u over here, the su together. Yemeğe davet etmiş. Davet etmek means to invite. Leylek, to dinner or to food. Yemek, it comes from the word yemek. By the way, if you like the explanation and you find it beneficial, then I advise you to check the link in the description box below about the 5 Turkish stories that I explain in details with lots of explanation. They are 9-hour long. So the link is in the description box below. Let's continue. Lezzetli bir kurbağa çorbası yapmış. Meaning of this sentence is he did or he made a delicious frog soup. So lezzetli means delicious. Bir kurbağa çorbası. A frog soup. Yapmış, he did. Now yapmış comes from the verb yapmak, to do, but here we use mış, which is the reported past tense in Turkish. It does not exist in English. When do we use it? We use it, yes. We have several uses. One of them is when you're reporting something to someone, an event, an action that he didn't see, or like in stories, like what's happening over here. Çorbanın kokusu ormanı büsbütün sarmış. Meaning of this sentence, the smell of the soup completely surrounded the forest. So çorbanın kokusu, now complement, the smell of the soup. Ormanı, the forest, büsbütün sarmış. Now sarmak means to wrap. It means it was all around the forest. The smell, of course. And bütün means all. Büsbütün, this is something that we use in Turkish to stress. Like for example, another example is mavi is blue. Masmavi, it's very blue, deep blue. Beyaz, for example, is white. Bembeyaz, it's like very white. Like let's say it's like snow, very white. So we use something next to each word, and each word has a certain words, so we don't repeat them a lot. Depends on the word, of course. You will know them while you read or learn more. Pişmiş etin kokusunu alan leylek, sabırsızlıkla yemek saatini beklemeye başlamış. Meaning of this sentence is, the stork, smelling the smell of the cooked meat, began to wait impatiently for the mealtime. Pişmiş etin. Pişmiş from pişmek, which means be cooked. As we said, miş is the reported past tense. Pişmiş etin, from the word et, which means meat. So let's see, kokusunu, the smell. So the smell of the cooked meat Alan leylek sabırsızlıkla. Al means from the verb almak, to take or to buy, by the way, but here to take. Alan, when we put the on, it means the person who is taking. For example, we use this a lot. Yap, do. Yapan, the doer, the one who does it. Now here it means, they mean that the one who is taking or smelling that smell, which is the leylek. He's taking that smell. Leylek, okay. Sabırsızlıkla, impatiently. Sabır means patient. Sabırsız is the opposite, impatient. Lik, la, we have la is the with. Sabırsızlık, all of it together, it means impatience. La, with. So without patient, or patience we say. Yemek saatini, the time of the food. Beklemeye başlamış, he started to wait. So beklemeye, beklemek, it's the infinitive form, to wait. Beklemeye, we put y as a protection letter e, because we have the verb başlamak. The başlamak, the word before takes e, and I've spoken about this in the grammar lessons. Also, I have the list of the verbs and what they take in front of them. The word that takes, for example, some words take done, some words take and so on. I have a list in my practical steps to learn Turkish, which I will link it below, in addition to a lot of things included in this course. So again, let's say the meaning of this long sentence. The stork, smelling the smell of the cooked meat, began to wait impatiently for the meal time. Kurnaz tilki çorbayı derin olmayan düz bir kaba koymuş. Meaning, the cunning fox put the soup in a shallow, flat bowl. So kurnaz means cunning. Tilki is the fox. So cunning fox, because we know that the fox is cunning and we hear that a lot in the stories. Çorbayı koymuş. He put the soup. Now, where did he put it? Let's see. Derin olmayan, düz bir kaba, which means derin olmayan. Derin means deep. Olmayan is not deep. So in a not deep, which is, we can say shallow. So it's not deep. It's like not deep. You understand it? Düz bir kaba. Düz means straight or flat. Bir kaba, a bowl. Again, the cunning fox put the soup in what? Shallow, flat bowl. Leylek uzun gagasıyla ne yapmışsa bir türlü çorbayı içmemiş ve tilkinin evinden aç olarak ayrılmış. Let's see the explanation. Let's see the whole explanation. The stork couldn't drink the soup, whatever it did, with its long beak, and left the fox's house hungry. So let's see till here içmemiş, because it's a verb, so we can explain this sentence till here. The leylek, the stork, uzun gagasıyla, with, la is with, y as a protection letter. We also explained why in the previous story. We always explain why. So the stork, with its long beak, ne yapmışsa, whatever he did, bir türlü çorbayı içmemiş. He couldn't drink the soup in any way. So the stork couldn't drink the soup in any way, whatever he did with his long beak. Ve tilkinin evinden aç olarak ayrılmış, and left, ayrılmak, to leave, ayrılmış, he left, and left the houses, or the fox's house, aç olarak, hungry. So aç here in this sentence, it means hungry, olarak, as hungry. But while we translate, we say the stork left the fox's house hungry. We don't say he left the fox's house as hungry. No. But we say it in Turkish. So this is the first slide. Don't forget also, I didn't mention this in this video, but if you want a copy of this PDF file, it's a PDF file I did as a video. If you wanted to take notes, to study for later, plus the PDF files of the whole channel, the stories, the lessons, then click on the link in the description box below to check them out. These are lifetime access, so you'll have a copy forever, in addition to adding new file each time I upload a new video. Leylek tilkinin evinden ayrılırken, the stork when he was leaving the fox's house. So let's see it. Leylek, stork, tilkinin evinden ayrılırken, can means when or while. When he was leaving the fox's house, he told him something. Or tilki said first, the fox said. Yemeği az yemenize üzüldüm. I'm sorry you ate few food or less food, or you didn't eat a lot, in other words. Yemeği, the food, az, a little, little. Yemenize, your food, your food, and he's respecting him. Üzüldüm, I am sad, I am sorry. So I am sorry that you ate few food or little of the food. Galiba yaptığım yemeği beğenmediniz demiş. He said, demiş means he said from the verb demek, infinitive form. He said the following. I guess you didn't like the food I made. So galiba means most probably, I guess. Yaptığım yemeği, the food that I did, from yapmak. So I guess you didn't, or beğenmediniz, you didn't like. From beğenmek, to like. Beğenme, here it's negative. Diniz in the past, you didn't like the food I did. He said. The leylek answered. Olur mu? Çok beğendim. I liked it a lot. Olur mu means like, is it possible? So it means like, of course I liked it. So, is it possible? Çok beğendim. I liked it a lot. Ellerinize sağlık. This is a term that we use when someone, for example, puts the food for you, prepares the food, like here, invites you. It means health to your hands. It's a term, you use it. Hepsi çok lezzetliydi. Everything was very delicious. So çok, very, hepsi, everything. Lezzetli, as we said, delicious. Lezzetliydi was. This D is the past. Y as a protection letter. Why? Why do we use letter Y as a protection letter? Also, we mentioned it before in the previous story. Demiş, he said. Next. Leylek de bir gün tilkiyi akşam yemeğine evine davet etmiş. Now the meaning of this sentence is, one day the stork invited the fox to his house for dinner. Leylek de, the stork also, bir gün a day tilkiyi, the fox, akşam yemeğine, to the evening's food, which is dinner, evine, to his house, davet etmiş, he invited. So one day the leylek, the stork, also invited the fox to his house for dinner. Tilki hiç daveti kaçırır mı? Does the fox ever miss an invitation? This is a question. So tilki, we know it. Hiç daveti, at all, invitation, kaçırır mı? He skips or he refuses. So it means, we take the meaning, does the fox ever miss an invitation? Davet vakti gelmiş. The invitation time came. But how do we translate it? It was time for the invitation. This is how we translate it. Açlıktan karnı zil çalan tilki leyleğin evine gitmiş. Meaning of this sentence, the fox, whose stomach was ringing with hunger, went to the stork's house. Açlıktan, from hunger, karnı, stomach. Zil çalan means, as it is, zil means bell. Çalan means play, like someone plays on a music instrument. This is çalmak, to play a music. But here it means that his stomach was making sounds from hunger. Açlıktan, tilki, okay, so we're talking about the fox whose stomach was ringing, if you want to say it, was making sound from hunger. Leyleğin evine gitmiş. He went, from gitmek, he went to the house of the leylek, of the stork. Now, ev is house. We use evi, the house. Ne here as a protection letter. E, because we have the verb gitmek. The verb gitmek takes e. Now, why do we use ne as a protection letter? Because this I is not part of the word. The word is ev. We added the I, then we put ne as a protection letter and not y. This is the difference. Now let's go to the last slide of the story. Leylek yaptığı yemekleri ağzı daracık olan kavanozlara koymuş. Meaning of the sentence: the stork put the food it cooked in jar with narrow mouth. Let's see the meaning. The stork koymuş, put. So we go the noun and the verb. The leylek put what? Yaptığı yemekleri, the food that he did. So as we said, yapmak, to do. The food that he did in a what? In a daracık. Daracık means narrow. Ağzı here means mouth. But of course the thing that he puts food in is the jar, yes. Kavanoz means jar. The jar doesn't have a mouth. It's the thing at the top of it where you put the food in and you start eating. I don't know what you call it exactly, but this is it. Daracık from dar, which means narrow. Olan means the one which. So he, again, the stork put the food that he did in what? In a narrow mouth. I don't know, whatever you put, whatever you know the word exactly. We said the thing where you put the food in. At the top of it, does. Olan, the one which has a narrow. As. Kavanozlara means jar. So he put it in a jar which has a narrow thing at the top. Uzun gagasıyla kavanozdaki yemekleri afiyetle yiyerek karnını bir güzel doyurmuş. Meaning of the sentence: he ate the food in the jar with his long beak and filled his stomach well. Now we're talking about the leylek. So uzun gagasıyla, with his long beak. Kavanozdaki yemekleri, the food that are in the jar. So kavanoz means jar. Da, in the jar. Kavanozdaki, the one that is in the jar. So the food that is in the jar. Afiyetle yiyerek. He ate it well with afiyet. This is a Turkish word. Like well. In a nice way. He was happy about the food. Karnını bir güzel doyurmuş. It means he filled his stomach beautifully. So he was full, in other words. Tilki de kavanozun etrafını yalamaktan başka bir şey yapmamış. Now, meaning of this sentence: the fox couldn't do anything but lick around the jar. Why? Because since it's a very narrow jar, the leylek with his beak can eat the food, but the tilki, the fox, cannot. So he just licked around the jar. Tilki de, the fox also, kavanozun etrafını, the side of the jar, yalamaktan başka bir şey yapmamış. He didn't do anything else. So başka else, bir şey, anything. He didn't do anything else but lick. The fox also couldn't do anything else but lick around the jar. This is the meaning. Tilki evden ayrılınca leylek. So, tilki, when he was leaving the house of the leylek. Evden ayrılınca,ınca means when. When he was leaving the house. The leylek said, ümit ederim ki, I hope. Ümit ederim ki, I hope, this is the meaning. Bu yemek daveti için sizden özür dilememi beklemiyorsunuz demiş. He said. The leylek, the stork, said, I hope you don't expect me to apologize for this dinner invitation. Bu yemek daveti, this dinner invitation için, for this dinner invitation, sizden, from you, özür dilememi, my apology, beklemiyorsunuz, you are not waiting. So again, I hope you are not waiting, or you are not expecting me to apologize from you about this food invitation. So I hope it's clear. So what did we learn from this story? Masaldaki öğüt. The advice in this tale. İnsanları aldatanlar bir gün kurdukları tuzaklara kendileri de düşürler. Those who deceive people will one day fall into the traps they set themselves. İnsanlar aldatanlar. Those who deceive people. Aldatmak, to deceive. Aldatanlar, those who deceive people. See the an here? The person who does that deceiving. Those who deceive people bir gün a day kurdukları tuzaklara. The traps that they make. Okay? Kendileri de düşürler. They fall also themselves. So they also fall in the traps that they make. And that's it. One day. Again, the advice means those who deceive people will one day fall into the traps that they set themselves. So this was the story. Now let's see the next slide. This is the translation of the story in English. You will get the copy, of course, if you click on the link of the PDF files. You can receive them. And now the last slide will be about the words that passed in the story. Some of them, of course. Let's see how many words will you remember and mention them in the comments section below. Let's see how many of them do you remember. Komşu olmuşlar. What does it mean? Misafirperver. Sabırsızlıkla. Ayrılmış. Beğenmediniz. Ellerinize sağlık. Kavanozlara yalamaktan aldatanlar. Hope the story was beneficial. You learned new things. Let me know your opinion in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and of course check out the links, the beneficial links that are in the description box below.